Hello, Steve at 39. Well, there's not a lot happening at the moment, but I just sort of want to do a tiny little sci-fi roundup. Um, Baby Yoda's in trouble. The adorable Baby Yoda. I haven't been watching The Mandalorian, which I haven't done any reviews, because Disney had a free trial and they got rid of it, and I'm like, I'm not paying. Uh, I was going to do like the free week and just watch like the whole season, but then they obviously worked out people were going to do that and ended it before that was like the in between seasons they were offering, and now Baby Yoda's back on because it's the Baby Yoda show. Basically, they were transporting a frog. I've heard it described as a frog lady who had a bunch of unfertilized eggs that were basically her only hope to have children. And little Baby Yoda was trying to eat them all through the episode, which is kind of an ongoing joke. But a lot of Karens are upset. And I'm like, okay, um, okay, it's a baby eating food. Like he doesn't know what. Well, maybe he does, because some people are speculating, and I saw this on um, Clownfish TV. I'm like, really? They're thinking Baby Yoda's going to turn out to be evil. That the reason why the Empire's chasing after him is they genetically created him to be some sort of like evil Yoda or something. And I'm like, I didn't think of that. That would sort of be almost interesting because they've got this cute sort of toy that like they're selling a lot of, although a lot of them ended up in the discount stores. Um, and if they make him turn evil, like he won't be adorable anymore. Like, and that would almost be Star Trekian, like having the cute alien end up being the evil one, and maybe the orc looking one somewhere is not going to be evil like the stereotypes. I don't know, but so yeah, Baby Yoda's in trouble. The Karens are all upset, and I'm just like, really, we still have like all the people in America are dying of COVID, and you're upset about Baby Yoda trying to eat frog eggs. I just, yeah, okay. Now Doctor Who, Doctor Who. There's rumors about Doctor Who. There hasn't been anything much for a while after the disaster that was last season, and the retconning all the Doctor Who's and changing it all and making him not even a he's not even a Time Lord anymore. He was a she for starters, and she started off as she, so she is a she, and she's a she now. So there is no Doctor Who as in the old Doctor Who, because they invalidated all those characters and made they just redid the history. So all that happened, and then people were just over it, and no one cared. And now they started to talk about doing. Also, the season was delayed, and now they're talking about doing 8 episodes, down from they normally would do I think 12 in a special, so it'd be like 13 episodes a year. So now they've reduced the season, and they're saying it's because of COVID, because of the cost and issues of producing a show during COVID. They're doing a shorter season. Other people are saying it's because they don't have the money. Other people are saying it's because people hate the show and they know that no one's going to watch it, and they're losing ratings, and they're slowly getting closer to cancelling the show. And there's this whole issue in the UK about the BBC, because the BBC is paid for by the people. They have to pay like a TV tax to make sure that they have a legitimate TV station that covers everyone, not just commercial interests, which makes sense. I actually think it's a good thing. But a lot of people are like, how dare you make me pay for this? And like, wow, okay. It's kind of like in Australia, the government pays for ABC and SBS, I think. I think it does. So they're not commercial channels. So they actually, like cover like Aboriginal issues, and they have news from other countries. And, I end up watching it quite a lot because SBS has, who's it, ABC? No, I'm thinking of NITV, which is the Aboriginal channel. They have Fraggle Rock on at 5 o'clock every day. So I tend to watch it because it's in HD and widescreen. It's awesome. And I just end up watching the show half the day anyway, and it's kind of interesting. But we wouldn't have those channels if we didn't have a similar system where taxes, the people, pay for this TV station, which caters for everyone, not just the white privileged majority that we sort of cater to in the country normally in the commercial channels. And the BBC seems to be the same thing, and a lot of people have issues with it because, they have their political issues, and they don't like minorities have actually been catered to and actually having a voice, because they apparently see that as a threat to their authority and all this sort of crap. And so there's a lot of drama because they're talking about decriminalising, or because apparently if you don't pay your TV tax or your TV, I did see how it was explained, but I've forgotten now. But basically you have to pay for it. And now that I think they're changing it so you don't have to, or people are demanding that they don't have to anymore. So that's a big shitstorm. So, and I meant to look at that actually because I was kind of curious because it's kind of alien. I sort of assumed the BBC was just paid for by the government, and that people pay taxes, the government use that to pay that, and it's not a separate thing that you could actually dismantle, but apparently it is. But I'm going to have to look at that. So that's the drama at the moment. That's the only things that are happening. Star Trek is just making episodes and making fans cry or pull their hair out, one or the other. Star Wars seems to be going fairly well. Gina Carano is continuing to poke the bear and make fun of the whole transgender pronoun issue and claim to be some sort of freedom fighter because she just ignores other people's causes for her own issues. I don't know why people are looking at her as such a hero. The fact that she said no when they demanded she basically put pronouns in her bio, I can respect because I don't do that either, and if someone told me to, I'd be like, no. But making fun of it afterwards and undermining it just undermines the overall cause, and there are trans people who are struggling to fight discrimination and assaults and things like that, and the last thing they need is a celebrity making fun of something they're trying to normalize, like pronouns and their existence basically. So I don't have any respect for her lack of respect for them, and I don't think she's transphobic, but she's sort of playing into it, whether she means to or not. So a lot of people are still going on about her because Pablo Pascal apparently is being difficult. He's kind of gloating over the whole Trump loss and Biden win, and basically suggesting that Trump fans are Nazis. I mean, who could make that equation? Who could, imply that supporting a white supremacist would be tantamount to being racist or white supremacist, or supporting Nazis, or I mean, how can you make that equation? I don't understand. So he's in trouble for doing that, and he actually took down a post, and it looks like Disney said, yeah, no, half our audience is Nazis, we need them, take it down. So yeah, it looks like that's how that went, because that's kind of how the states are at the moment. Basically, if you support Trump, that side of things is so loyal and such a tight-knit community, and if you become one of them, and if you speak to them and tell them what they want to say, and don't contradict them and don't tell them the truth or anything or reality, and you're clearly on their side, they will support you, and you will have just ratings through the roof. You'll have half the country watching your show, buying your brand, whatever. If you're on the other side, if you're on the left, well, they're unorganized, disloyal, they eat their own, they're all trying to basically be the most woke, and it's a huge shitstorm. So I can see why some people like Gina Carano and stuff like that are pandering to that side, because it means a permanent loyal base at the moment, and the politics, they're all going that way as well. Because while Trump is continuing to try and deny the election results, his law cases, they keep getting knocked down because they're ridiculous. I think they're having a recount in Pennsylvania because the margin was close enough that they can justify it, and I think that's about the only thing he got away with. So once that's done, he's not really going to have any legitimate claim to try and overthrow the election, so he's going to have to ask for some very old laws to be used so that the Electoral College can just decide who they want to view and actually just throw away the will of the people. Apparently there's legislation from last century that can actually allow this. It's just a matter of people being willing to throw democracy out the window in the hope of loyalty from Donald Trump once he's in power, because they'll be in power too because they sided with him. So maybe they'll think that's actually better than living in a democracy. Maybe they'll do it, but it's unlikely, but it's not impossible, and that's the scary thing. And the other thing with Trump, what was the other thing with Trump that was happening? The other option, of course, is if they can get it to the Supreme Court somehow, but none of these cases are going to go to the Supreme Court, because if they did, they would just decide, because they've got the majority, because Trump has put 3 people in there, and there are 3 people he's expecting to cater to him and rule in his favour. So I don't think they'll get that opportunity, but it's all kind of scary to think that he's basically trying to stage a coup, and it's all a bit scary because it's theoretically possible. I don't think it'll happen though. So that's everything that's happened this week that I thought was interesting. Baby Yoda's in trouble, Doctor Who. Oh, and she might be bisexual as well. So they're just doing anything they can to upset the fans. They've made her into a woman, they made her bisexual, they've made her black, they've made the original Doctor a woman and not a Time Lord, and totally changed the history and removed all the doctors that people grew up with and cared about. They're not the first doctors, they're not like who they were anymore. They've just destroyed everything. So Doctor Who's a mess, Star Trek's a mess, Star Wars is doing okay, but they could be heading towards a mess. It's really, like, we've got Kathleen Kennedy trying to put it in the gender politics direction, and then we've got what's the name of the guy who's in charge of it now? Favreau. We've got a couple of people who are actually in charge of it now who are trying to go in like the direction of actual Star Wars. So we're sort of watching that, see where that goes. And of course we've got Trump having the biggest tantrum in political history and wondering where the country's going to go, because Joe's trying to actually set up getting, started for the next presidency, and they won't release the funds, they won't basically acknowledge him, so he can't get anything started. So he basically won't be able to start until the 20th of January pretty much, and then he'll be behind the 8 ball, and it'll be harder for him to actually get anything going, especially with COVID, because he's going to have to pull a national lockdown with a national plan, coordinated plan. It's the only way they're going to get this under control, otherwise they're going to have like half a million dead by the end of all this. So that's the shit that interested me today. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. It's Friday the 13th. I'm going to go have a Friday the 13th movie marathon, which I normally start after 12 on the Thursday, the 12th, but I totally forgot. I mean, 2020 is just one, like every day is Friday the 13th. The whole year is like a horror movie, so I just forgot all about Halloween, and I forgot all about Friday the 13th this year. I just wasn't focused on them at all like normal, because every day's Halloween. But, yep, I'm still talking. Thanks.